Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, iHeartRadio, iTunes 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, Woman on TV, Worldwide TV Network. So this will be an interesting show because we get to talk to another new author. This is fun because I never know what they bring to the table. I never know what the book is like until I get a chance to read it. So Scott, tell us who you are, where you're coming from.
Yeah, you got it. I'm Scott Feld, and I'm coming from San Diego, California.
And the name of your book is?
Dax to the Max, Book 1, Imagination.
So
I love it.
Tash loves kids' books, so this could be interesting. Tash, tell her who you are. So tell Scott who you are, what you bring to the table.
Yeah, so I'm all the way in Miami. I'm a new Latin singer-songwriter. So just kind of really going into my career and music and kind of exploring writing. And on the side, I am, Brian's co-host, and I've been with him for 2 years, so it's been a fun ride. And I love meeting book authors, especially authors that write children's books. Like, I remember since I was when I was growing up, like I would love reading like books that had like drawings and like it was like fun stuff. And I could already tell just from the title, Dax to the Max, and then the cover of it, I already know it's one of those like stories that kind of, that inspires kids to really dig into, anything about like their imagination or what they love to do. So I would love to hear more about how was Dax and Max created, if there was anyone that you were kind of thinking about when you were doing the character Dax.
Dax is my 6-year-old son.
Oh, I love stories like that. See, that's always like I always love hearing the backstories. It's always somebody that and then you like get inspired by it. So yes, tell me more, please.
You got it. And Dax actually looks just like that with the long blonde California San Diego hair.
Love it.
So I am a certified life skills coach, and basically Dax to the Max is the way that I decided to get to like that 3 to 7-year-old age group so that they could learn about what we call their inner superpowers, or their ISP. We say, forget about your ESP, go for your ISP. And so the inner superpowers are things that we all have, but sometimes we're just not sure how to use them, or they're not shown to us. This particular one is that inner superpower called imagination, probably the most powerful one of all. And our imagination can really go in a couple different ways. It can help us for what we want. It can help us create the things that we want, get us excited, maybe a little nervous, but go for it. But it can also stop us and limit us when we imagine things worse than they are, or we do imagine, what could go wrong. And so this is really showing kids, making them aware of that's how imagination works, so that they can take control of it and they can direct it. And when I say take control of it, I don't mean control their imagination. I think they should let their imaginations flow and go, but direct it in the way that they want to. So it's not flowing and going and making them scared and fearful and not able to try new things or do new things that they might want to do. So that's why I wrote Dax to the Max. That's kind of what it's about.
And you say that it's book 1. So is this like a continuation of what's going on the first book?
I did create it that way, for better or for worse. So yes, my thought was, let's go ahead and have a series of books, each one with a new inner superpower. And so where this one leaves off, little spoiler alert, but probably won't affect anybody, is that it says, I'm going near the sea. I'm going to an island. Once I arrive, I'll get a hand. Okay, I'll go if Lauren can come too. Of course I'm coming, Dax. I wouldn't miss it. So in this one, they're in a cave with a bear. On the next one, they're on an island. Ooh. And the next inner superpower is supposed to be confidence, how to grow confidence inside of yourself. And so, yes, however, and this is along the lines a little bit of what you do, I believe, is that this was picked up on a post that I had done here locally by a production company asking me if I'd ever thought of a TV show called Dax to the Max. And I said, I had not, but please talk to me. I'm interested.
Yes.
And that was about 3 months ago. This launched November 26th. So right around 3 months ago, they contacted me. And I went into some discovery and some training with them, and I wrote a pilot and I wrote a season arc. And now I'm working on a pitch deck, about to sign a shopping agreement with them so that we can get that out, pitch deck done, and get it out to some different kids TV shows. So a little bit different than the book is what I wrote, but a Dax to the Max animated TV show is in the works as well. So that's deterred me a little bit from writing the second book.
Wow, that's exciting. It's something that you weren't expecting to happen. And, the universe kind of threw it on you, and that's awesome. Like, I love series like that. Good for you, Scott.
Thanks. Yeah. Awesome.
Congratulations, Scott, on that. And then, so from Houston, Texas, so Rachel, I have to call her Chef Rachel Roberts, popped in. So Dax, I put up your book. I want to see the whole thing. And then you have the Hasmark label on it too, don't you?
I do. Yeah. So again, Dax is my son. He's now 6. He was 5 when I wrote this, and it's got its Amazon international bestseller, for whatever that's worth. And then, it was published by Hasmark, which is right there, Hasmark Publishing. So Judy and the Gang are awesome. And we have a 24-page activity book that they've just finished for us too. So that'll be out shortly.
Oh, Scott, that's so cool. I've got a 7-year-old son myself.
Oh.
So I'm writing all your stuff down. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Really
Nice
cool.
to meet you, Rachel. Thank you
nice
so
to meet
much.
you too, Scott. Yeah, we definitely need to connect and have play dates.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Long distance play dates for sure.
Right.
Rachel, tell Dax. I see I'm calling him Dax now.
I was too.
Let Scott know what you do.
Okay, so I'm Rachel Roberts, and I'm Rachel Roberts Recipes. I'm in Houston, Texas, and I'm a home chef that shoots cooking videos for social media. And I grow things in my garden, and I cook fabulous food, and I share it with the world. So that's what I do. So my little boys are very spoiled with wonderful food.
Oh, I bet he is. That's another reason to come over for a play date. Goodness.
Yeah, exactly. Every night we look for books to read, and I'm really excited about Dax to the Max. I'm gonna buy this from you.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Scott.
So Scott, the other thing about that, congratulations on writing all that stuff. That's not easy, and that's one of the things that we do when we have our events. I like to expose a lot of the authors and publishers to people that I know, whether independent directors, producers, or screenwriters that are looking for things like that. So that's what makes it fun. So even in Nashville, that's why a lot of the authors are getting together, because there's a lot of talent down there that people don't realize, and they want some of these books too. So it's very interesting.
Okay, great. You're enticing me. I want to go.
Well, so Tash, tell him what we did when we were in Hollywood, because it was the first time that Tash and I got a chance to meet. But
it was I'll never forget when I met Brian. I've known Brian for 2 years, but we never met in person. So when I met him in LA, I was like, oh my God, Brian, like you're an actual real person. And it was fun. Like we had the Thursday was like the biggest day where we had to interview people and meet everybody for the Super Bowl show. And it was fun. It was like, I was taking it all in, and I was like, this is fun and exciting. You also get a chance to tell people what you are doing and what you're passionate about. So it's very great to networking was amazing over there. Like I really had a great time, Brian. I can expect that Nashville is probably going to be the same.
Well, Nashville, because Rachel will be joining us. So it's just, Scott, what it is I'm just bringing everybody together on a different point of view. And that's a central location to get everybody in. But that's like our second home, because that's where we got our first million views. So at 10.3 million, working on way up. My goal between now and February 2nd, and Tash can see all the stuff that we do because she uploads these shows afterwards, is we are going to beat Joe Rogan by February 2nd of next year in our views. We can't beat him yet on the weekly shows because he's at 11 million. We're only at 1.7. But by the end of next month, we'll be at 2 million views. So I'm happy about these things. So that's
great.
Good. Our growth is going up. He's already plateaued. So we always will go up because we go by the views, not the followers, not the subscribers, and not the likes.
Yeah, got you. So Joe, if you're listening Brian's coming at you.
Oh, the word is already out. He already knows.
And Tasha, I love what you just said, because there's only so much, and I'm so tired of, everything being like social media and all of that, getting together and really networking and meeting people, instead of just doing LinkedIn and Facebook, really appeals to me. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, amen. Thank God the masks are coming off and we can actually meet in person again. Isn't it feeling good?
Oh my God. The fact that you don't have to wear it on an airplane anymore is just, woo!
Yeah, right. We feel so liberated. We're like, take it off.
I know.
Yeah, totally. And the timing couldn't be better for me, because I have Florida and New York all in the next month, and maybe now Tennessee as well. So thank God I don't want to wear a mask.
What's going on in New York and Florida?
New York is Kidlit TV. We got on Kidlit TV, so we're going to do the interview there.
I came on kind of a couple minutes late, so I missed. If you talked about that already, I missed that
part. I haven't. No, not at all.
Talk about it. Let's hear.
Yeah, no, I have a publicist, and the publicist is PR from the heart. His name's John, and he came to me and he said, "Look, I have a connection. I found something that's difficult to get." Unless you're with Random House or New York Times bestselling author type person, but I have a few slots for you, and they're interested. So if you would be willing to fly to New York, you can go to their studio and do a live, like we're talking about, interview on Kidlit TV. So that'll be in the middle of June. So that'll be amazing.
So cool.
I'm excited about that.
Florida? And what's happening in Florida?
Disney World and Epcot with my son.
Oh, okay. That's also fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting spoiled.
It's gonna be fun. I went there when I was like his age or even a little younger. So I'm excited we live near Disneyland, only an hour and a half, and he's been there about 1,000 times. He knows Mickey personally, like he has his number. But this will be a whole new experience for him. So it's really exciting.
Wow, that's really cool.
Hey, Scott, talk about how did
just one
Dax To The Max come about? Where'd the idea come from?
So as I said, I'm a certified life skills coach, and I own a company called Minds in Motion. And Minds in Motion is really power parties and power quest, or what I call them. And they teach that teen tween age group, like that 10 to 16-year-old age group, basically the same thing, their inner superpowers. I call it the keys to unlocking your inner superpowers so you can become unmesswithable. And basically, I take them through 6 or 7 different superpowers, really, so that they can learn about power shifting. They can learn about confidence. They can learn how to work from the inside out so that the outside doesn't affect them as much as it would if they weren't aware of this kind of stuff. They can direct themselves on a course, set goals for themselves, little markers. And then when other things come that are not really lending themselves to getting towards these goals that they've created through their own imagination that they're excited about, then those things don't seem to have as much power on them because they're up to something. And so I take them through those. So a power party is like a 1 day, 2, 3, or 4 hour event where we go through that. We do music. Everything is interactive and fun. I have what's called a power box. We have Play-Doh. We do dream boards. We do fly gliders. They can talk about how the pilot and the co-pilot, the conscious and the subconscious, need to work together in order for you to fly to Hawaii. Otherwise, you're going to crash and burn. I don't say it quite like that, but you're not going to get there. And so that was the creation. And then I thought, but I have, at that time, a 5-year-old. And my 5-year-old's listening to me, like I'm studying this all the time and I'm teaching it, right? And he's listening to me, but it's probably just a little bit above his head. He's not quite sure how to put it together. And I know that my son loves to read. He loves it when we read to him, right? So I said, I'm going to create a book that's going to do this for kids in that age group. And then my son is going to get it. And then people, kids his age are going to get it. So Dax To The Max on the surface is very simple. It's Dax with his friend Lauren. And people ask, who's Lauren? Well, in reality, Lauren is our 16-year-old neighbor that lives across the street. In a deeper version of this book, Lauren is his inner voice, the one that tells him, use your imagination. You don't have to be afraid. But that's a hard thing to sell to kids and parents. Like, it's his inner voice. No, it's a 16-year-old girl who cruises along with him, his babysitter, his friend. And she shows him in the clouds. Look up at the clouds. What do you see in the clouds? Use your imagination. If you do, they're not just clouds. That's something that we all do, right? We've done that when we were kids. But then it goes forward. It moves on from there. The cloud gives a message, right? The message says, go to this cave, what you want is there. And they get to the cave and there's a bear. We call him Fregley. So the bear represents fear. Fregley is the fear. And when he sees the bear's just there, but he creates the fear by going, I'm scared. And then the bear wakes up, shows his teeth. Lauren, in her voice, says, you don't have to be afraid. You can change the situation. You can actually change Fregley by using your imagination. So he closes his eyes, he turns Fregley into this really fun, kind of cartoonish bear. I'll show you a little picture here. Fregley is a cartoon bear right there, right? So when he's not fear anymore, he's something exciting. But when he was fear, he looked like that, right?
Oh, man.
So the point of all of this, yeah, right? But he created that. That's the point that we get in the book, is that he created that. And then you learn, you go, oh, I'm creating. It's just it. And I can create whatever I want. So this is when Brian and I were talking in the beginning. It's like, which way does your imagination go? You can use it for good to support you. You can use it to limit you. And he wants to run away from what he wants. But instead, Lauren tells him, use your imagination, create something fun, exciting. He does that. He realizes, oh my gosh, I've had this inner superpower inside of me all the time. I wonder what other ones I have. And then Fregley shines this light on the cave and gives another message. And that's where we get into the series, right? This is, now you're going to use this power, go off on your next quest, your next adventure, where you're going to gain another superpower. And so that's
You're going to write more. This is just the beginning.
I've set it up to do that, Rachel. Book one, imagination.
Fantastic. Yeah. I found it on Amazon.
That's,
like, but I want you to sign it.
You got it. I will. Dax will. Dax has gotten really good at his signature when we go read.
Yeah. How does Dax feel about him being like, the main character? Like, what did he say when you told him?
Well, he actually, he had some input on me writing it. And he seems to really like it. He seems to really enjoy being the main character. He seems to like going to the book signings and having the other kids go, oh my God, you're in a book, like especially at his own kindergarten. That was really special for him. When we took out the coloring pages and his friends were able to color him. So awesome. That doesn't happen to many kids. And so he seems to like it. And then Rachel, I don't know when you came in, but I got offered to write a TV show with a production company.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I wrote a pilot and a season arc, and we're working on the pitch deck with them after we get past some legal stuff to kind of bring this to like PBS Kids or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so that's very exciting for him. He feels like the animated version of himself might be like Dora the Explorer or those people. Like, so he's liking it. And the most important part of it is he's getting like, how do you operate? Yeah. How do you operate? So.
Well, you know what? I've been doing like some radio stuff, and Cooper was in the background, and it was like important for the house to be quiet so that I could be like, my character. But Cooper was coming in the background, and he was getting excited because he could hear me in character, and he starts making all these crazy sounds. And what was funny is the people in the radio were like, whoa, who's that? They were like, no, Cooper's a natural. So they were pulling him in. And next thing you know, it's like, bye, Rachel. Hello, Cooper. So like, I get it. Like, it's like he's at school and he's like, I'm on the radio.
Yeah, totally. I get you. I mean, he's taken over a few podcasts. When we first released the book, our local TV station had picked up on it and they came to his school. We did an interview. He was brilliant. He's like, here I am when I was scared. And then when I imagined I
love it.
And the TV people are like, we love that kid, and I had like these little bit, I had these little bit parts in it.
Well, this is how our kids become famous. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This morning I
Yeah,
took
yeah.
my kid to school and he was like, all like 5 girls were like, Cooper, hi.
Same. I got the same thing going on. Yeah.
Hey Scott,
you.
what was the feeling like when you knew you became a a bestseller? Are you an international bestseller or bestseller?
International bestseller, says Amazon. Yeah.
Talk about that feeling. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I woke up the next morning and I got an email from Hasmark that said, "Congratulations, big deal. You became a bestseller." And I became a bestseller in Australia. The reason I became a bestseller in Australia first is because a lot of the courses that I taught and the Facebook groups I'm in are with Aussies. They just seem to be a very open-minded type of culture and people, and so they made me a bestseller first. They bought my books.
Wow.
And then because of the time change, I think it was that evening, I was told, because they watch it for me, that I just became an international bestseller because I hit it in the US. Now on Amazon, just to be clear for everybody, that means that you crack the top 100 in different categories that you're placed in that are related to your book. So mine's children's philosophy, children's personal development, children's help. And so we cracked it in a bunch. But the big one for me was when Hasmark called me or emailed me and they said, there's 4 main categories on Amazon. And in those 4 main categories, you got bestseller in one of those. And that's very rare. They said, we can't remember another person in the last like 8 or 9 years that's gotten that. And it was like in gift ideas is one of their top 4. And so I thought that was very cool. So yeah, it was exciting because it's my first book and you have to see yourself as an author and kind of embody that persona. And then all of a sudden you're it. Like here you are, like you have a book, you're getting author copies, you're signing them. You're getting a bestseller badge. And then we just got this other thing called Great Reads. So we're going to have some seals that we're going to place on these. And this was a thing where, it's reading with your kids and you get, a great reads. They evaluate your book and stuff. So we just got that as well. And yeah, it's exciting. This is a good journey. This is a fun journey for us.
Yeah.
Lots of different twists and turns, like you had said, that are a little unexpected. That's what Nathasha said. It's just, you got to go on the journey, because if you don't go on the journey, almost nothing is available except for what you get. Or you go on the journey and you look around the corner and there's the beautiful waterfall and the deer and the antelope play, and you could have never seen them unless you walked around the path. That's what I'm doing.
Cool, Scott. And where are you located? Are you in
San Diego, California?
San Diego. Are you going to take your son with you to Nashville or to any of these cool places that you go?
Yeah, he's going to New York with me.
He's going to New
Him
York.
and I.
Awesome.
I think we read the book on TV, so I'll read it to him. Although he could probably read it to me by now. So he'll go to New York with me. If depending on where Brian is, because we're going to do another one. I want to come to the LA studio, just do it live with him, but see if he's in LA and able to do that. And he would come with me to that. If Brian wanted me to. Nashville doesn't seem like the right fit for him. I think that would just be more of my networking. And the truth be told, I told his kindergarten teacher about all this travel, and she was like, I'm like, he's in kindergarten. And she was like, yes, but he needs to be ready for first grade. So he goes to a private Montessori school, and they're very lax. And I know the school well, and I even teach to the middle schoolers there, but he needs to be ready for first grade. So he'll be taking some work with him on some trips.
I was actually going to ask you if you ever were a teacher, because I feel like you would be such a great teacher, just your energy and how you talk about kids and your book. I'm wondering if you ever were a teacher once.
So teachers come in many forms. I wouldn't say in the form that you're talking about. So my background is I have owned an interactive entertainment company for kids and teens for the last 25 years. That's pretty popular here in San Diego, called Extreme Fun. And I started that company and I created everything about it. I'm on stage DJing a lot.
Oh, wow.
for kids, and it's an interactive experience. So I lead games with my assistants. And so I think that's what you really hear. So when I started Minds in Motion, the big unique seller about me, the unique proposition that everybody needs so they don't sound like the other personal development teacher guy, is, for me, it's that I bring this interactive, fun, engaging experience to the lessons. So you don't feel like you're in school. You feel like you're at an event and you're getting something, but it's fun and you want to be there. So that's what I try to create my power parties and my power quests.
I've got a teenager. Okay, so how do I get him into like some of this Minds in Motion and all of this stuff? Like, how do I sign up if I want to, I want my son to be part of all that?
Yeah, so it's mindsinmotion.com, and it's mind and then it's Zen, Z-E-N.
Okay.
Motion.
Oh, I see.
motion.com.
Mind in Motion. Okay.
Yeah, and then on there is just a link to just book a call with me. So there's a couple different ways that we do it right now. Is we do private one-on-ones on a limited availability. So I have some kids in New York, and I have a kid who just hit me in Eastern Europe, a mom of a kid in Eastern Europe. I just finished a group in Australia, a group of girls in Australia. And then I have my local live ones that I do. So we do private group or private individual. I really wanted in my original model to be like, I'm going to have this open format where kids could just sign up for dates that we had created and go through a power quest. I found that to be a little bit challenging at this point, because at that age, the kids aren't necessarily comfortable sharing with strangers and other kids and being part of that. So I'm not sure how I'm going to kind of maneuver that. There's going to be in the next 3 to 4 months a recorded version of my program, with being able to come on calls once a week and do your questions and talk and revisit what you've done. So I'm going to have that recorded version. So for now, to really answer your question, is just have a private call with me and just see what's best. And it's either going to be like a group of him and his friends, his team, or him individual to go through a quest, which is like a 6-week program.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. And then coming soon, one other thing is the Quest Fests. So in the business model is where everybody who's done some kind of version of a power party or a power quest and been involved with us will be invited to a location. And we're going to have like a big party with these breakout fun rooms and speakers and acrobats, and dancers, and food and drinks. And just, we want to make a movement in a community. You know how the teenagers kind of already collaborate themselves on who's playing video games and the social medias. We want to create a movement of kids who are supporting each other in their different unique endeavors. And this is very different than approval. So when you're on social media or even in your video games, you're looking for approval, like you're good enough, your picture's good enough, your filter was good enough, you said the right thing, you did the right thing. And so you try to follow others because you feel like that's where you'll get the approval. You don't want to stand out too much. Really want to show kids inside of a movement that they can be unique, and that's the only way they're ever going to be fulfilled in their life. So I want to show them that, and then I want to give them people who would support them in that, and they could support them. So that's what Quest Fest will be all about. Quest Fest,
and how do I get to that Quest Fest?
It's one of the options there, but it's really a coming soon, because these are this company's been for like a year and a half, really, and I'm just building up and finding out which one of my avenues work, and then I need to build up enough people who have done these power parties and power quests, and then have something like that bring them together. So some of it's still in my imagination.
Give me social media links.
Yeah, social media links.
Yeah. So almost everything would be, at Minds in Motion. As far as I don't know. I mean, I have I have like the list of them here for keeping, but yeah, it's Zen, Z-E-N. That's Minds in Motion. And sometimes I have to answer this question. When you name your business, you always have questions to answer. And the question is the Zen related to some kind of religious or Buddha thing? And when you become aware of what Zen is, Zen means calm.
Yes.
Right. And so Minds in Motion is really calming the mind of the noise in order to get into action or motion.
which is
towards what
important
you
with
want.
kids, because kids are like, ah!
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
get
there's
that.
so much coming at them. I mean,
Mhm.
when I was a kid, there was enough coming at me, and I didn't have social media. You know, now it's
Right.
just 24/7. You go to sleep looking at it, you wake up with it,
Yes, yes.
and it kind of drives you, you know, who you are. So mom was talking to me about her kid, and she said, "Are all kids so addicted to video games?" And I said, well, different levels of it, but the problem isn't the video games, it's why they're doing it. The big why is they're escaping from something.
Mhm.
The video game is their escape. They get to go into a different world because this world here ain't working for them, and that's a problem. So what you want to do is not fight the video game, because you're probably going to lose. Same with
Right.
social media. What you want to do is you want to show them kind of what's happening and give them alternatives and get them up to something. You have to have those conversations, like, you know, and sometimes kids don't open up at that age. So you have to have repetitive conversations. What do you love? Like, if you could do anything, let's write some things out. Let's put some pictures here. What do you really love? What do you love? And get them to start really at least thinking about, what do I love?
Mhm.
And they go, I love video games.
And that's why
And
we
then
want
you
to
ask
turn
them,
them on, Scott. That's why we want to turn them on to either gardening or singing, because
yeah,
that's about the arts. It's about creating and using different
yeah,
things, and it's about
Or cooking.
all about the arts. All right,
and cooking,
Cooking, yes,
Yeah,
cooking.
cooking.
Tasha,
Cooking
tell
is-
them everything about you while we have some little time left and where he can find you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
I'm-
you can. Oh, sorry.
Go
You can
ahead.
go, Dax. I mean, Scott. Oh my God, I'm literally.
I know we're all calling you Dax.
That's all right.
That's okay.
So,
That's all right.
you can find me on all social media platforms under @vocally_Tash. I do have a new single that I am releasing next Friday, so I'm super excited about that. It's a song about kind of woman empowerment, you know, for anyone who's like in a toxic relationship, that it's okay to like let go and take care of yourself. So it's a Brazilian funk song. So it's a very fun song, but with a very strong message.
Love it.
So I'm excited about that. And also you guys can find me on my website, natasharumbosmusic.com. You can find like all, you know, what I'm up to, my YouTube, my songs, and I'm pumped, you know, like it's been a great 22. I was about to say 2021, but I'm like a year behind, but that's all the great fun stuff that's been going on, and I'm excited for next week.
All
Love
right,
it.
you go ahead.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Rachel, your turn.
Oh, okay. So you can find me on Rachel Roberts Recipes on all those social media websites. And yeah. So Nathasha, I'm 48. So I know all about woman empowerment and moving on and not being okay with that. Yeah, I can't wait to.
It has to be the summer theme song, hot summer theme song.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
So with that, okay, want to have everybody turn into and look at Scott's info, Dax To The Max, and obviously locally Tash and Ashish with Chef Rachel Roberts. So with this, I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.